Good morning, Jolly Cruise family. My name is Jason, and I am the Jolly Cruise vlogger. And what a week of news stories were in the cruise industry this week. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about some of the cruise stories that happened within the last week-ish. A couple of the stories that we're going to talk about today. We've got a cruiser that went viral for going hungry on a cruise, which I don't know how that really happens. We also have new information coming out about some of the exclusive destinations for cruise lines. We've got cruise lines getting larger. We've got cruise line fleets getting smaller. And we even have an update on the infamous poop cruise. Our first story today we're going to talk about is something I never ever thought I would talk about or hear about on a cruise ship. There was recently a cruiser on Virgin Voyages that went viral for her reactions to what she was being served in the test kitchen area. The TikToker who goes by the handle The Foodie Attorney booked a Virgin Voyages cruise for her birthday, went to the test kitchen, thought it was great, thought it was amazing. The staff comes out, they bring her meal, they do the whole presentation. You know, the bowl is full of smoke and to infuse that smoky flavor into that. They lift up the bowl and she just busts out laughing. She honestly thinks that she's part of the show Punk'd with Ashton Kutcher. She thought everybody was having a rib at her for her birthday because it was just a little bowl of peas and an egg yolk caviar. Look at her reaction right here. You can tell she was expecting a little bit more from the test kitchen. So if you're not familiar with the test kitchen on Virgin Voyages, it's like this fusion of creativity and culinary exploration and a science lab all mixed together to present the food in a new, creative way. Unfortunately for this particular cruiser, it was creative, it was good, no problems with the food, there just wasn't enough on it. What actually made the whole video go viral is the fact that she thought there was more to it. She thought there was more to what the meal actually was, but there wasn't. And that's okay. She was fine with it because it tasted great. But she did go on and get some burgers and pizza afterwards because she was still hungry. But ultimately for me on a cruise, it's kind of like going to your grandma's house. If you leave cold or hungry, it's your own fault. But in this case, I don't think it was her fault. Our next story actually goes back and ties into what I talked about last week of where I see the future of the cruise industry going, with everybody going to private and exclusive destinations into larger ships, just like I predicted, because I'm going to take all the credit for it, although I had really nothing to do with it. Later on, after I released that video, Royal Caribbean comes out and says, but here's what we're going to have at Perfect Day Mexico. Royal Caribbean put out their CGI renderings of what Perfect Day Mexico looks like. And oh my gosh, it is literally mind-blowing and world record setting. They've got a water park with 30 water slides, which 2 of them are the tallest ones in North and South America. They've got a lazy river that takes almost an hour to go around. They've got 7 themed lands, and oh my goodness, I'm ready to go. And I did put my name in the drawing for it. I did put my name in and said, hey, I want to be one of the first ones there. And me and probably like 25 million other people did the same thing. But that's okay, because I can get there, and I will get there with your help by liking and subscribing to this channel. Perfect Day Mexico is not going to open until the fall of 2027. And like I said, they are going to have 7 themed lands. And in some of these lands are, like I mentioned, are world record, the biggest, the largest, whatever in the world. So let's talk about some of the things that they have. The first area that you're going to come to is going to be called Fiesta Cove, which has the world's largest sombrero. Another area is going to be their local water park, which is going to have, like I mentioned, 30 water slides. In those 30 water slides, they're going to have 2 of them that are like 170 foot tall, that are the longest ones in the world, and they're dueling water slides. Another area is going to have the longest lazy crazy river around in the world, which takes at least an hour almost to go around. longer if you stop at one of the swim up bars that they have. And each one of the inner tubes has its own drink holder for you. They're also going to have Splash Away Bay, which is going to be for kids and family. They're going to have El Hideaway, which is going to be the adults only area. They're also going to have a Costa Beach Club area, which is going to have a heated infinity pool. And lastly, they're also going to have Chill Beach, which is nearly 2 miles of white sand beaches. But in thinking about all these 7 different themed areas and what they have to offer, to me, with all these 7 different lands that they're going to have and everything that they're going to have to offer, with the world's tallest this, the world's longest this, I don't know that you can do it all in one day. I don't know that even you could do half of what they have to offer in one day. So as of today, I am going to mark this down as a spoiler, not a prediction. I think that Royal Caribbean is going to start having overnights here at Perfect Day Mexico, just like MSC does at Ocean Cay. What do you think? Would you want an overnight where you actually sleep on the ship? You obviously don't sleep there at Perfect Day Mexico. But would you want a 2-day stay here at Perfect Day Mexico? Let me know in the comments below. Our next story talks about how one cruise line is decreasing their fleet and another one is increasing their fleet. And the two are related in multiple different areas. Costa Cruise Lines, who is part of the Carnival umbrella of cruise lines that they own, announced the other day that they were going to be decreasing their fleet by 1 as of Q3 of 2026. Okay, no problem. They were going to go down to, they've got 9 ships right now. They're going to go down to 8. So just a day or two after Costa announces they're decreasing their fleet, Margaritaville at Sea says, hey, we're increasing our fleet because we're going to buy that Costa Fortuna come Q3 of 2026. So now Margaritaville at Sea is going to have 3 ships in their fleet, all 3 of which are former Costa ships. But what I'm wondering, and what nobody really seems to be talking about, is what is the future of Costa? And I asked that question because from 2018 to 2023, Costa has gotten rid of 5 of their cruise ships. 3 of them have gone over to Margaritaville at Sea, and 2 of them have gone over to Carnival. In 2018, Costa Cruise Lines had 13 ships. As of Q3 of 2026, Costa Cruise Lines is going to have 8. So that's 5 ships that they're not going to have anymore. That's a decrease of nearly 40% of their fleet. I'm generally curious about what the future of Costa Cruise Lines is going to be. So I'm wondering how long it's going to be by, could it be by 2030? So in the next 5 years, is Costa going to be no more? And is Carnival going to either absorb them and take them off of the Costa name and put them under the Carnival name, like Carnival has done with the 2 P&O cruisers out of Australia? They've rebranded those from P&O Cruise Lines into Carnival Cruise Lines and now operate the Carnival Australia. Do you think that Costa is going to stay around as Costa Cruise Lines, or do you think they're going to sell off some of their older ships and then rebrand some of the newer ships under the Carnival name? I'm predicting that a couple of the older ships are going to get sold off to other cruise lines, and the remaining ones are going to be rebranded into Carnival Cruise Line. In a story that both literally and figuratively stinks, the poop cruise on the Carnival Triumph is coming back to surface. Well, what do I mean by that? Netflix has a documentary series called Trainwreck, where they go in and they discuss some of the more tragic happenings that's gone on across the world. In this case here, they're going to talk about the February 2023 Carnival Triumph cruise, where they had a fire in the engine room and they lost all power. Now, when I say all power, they had no running water, no running toilets, no food, no electricity, no nothing. They were just stuck there for a couple days. Other Carnival ships came in, brought food, brought water, but, as you eat, what comes in must come out. What came out and into the bathroom came back up into the public areas, and the odor became overwhelming in a lot of cases. This particular cruise on the Carnival Triumph became known as the poop cruise because you can understand why. It's actually going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to watching it because it's told from the perspective of some of the guests that were actually on the ship. So it's told from a cruiser's perspective of what was going on, what happened, what did they do. It does air on Netflix June 24th. Bonus story time. That's right. I do have one more cruise story from the last week. I did not want to leave it on such a sour, pun intended, note. Last week on the 15th of May, when the Carnival Paradise was headed around Cuba towards Montego Bay here there in Jamaica, somebody noticed a small raft that was floating out there. So doing what they were supposed to do, some of the Carnival crew jumped in a lifeboat was lowered, and they head out towards that raft. They also called the Coast Guard to let them know what was going on. When the Paradise gets there, there's like 15 people on this makeshift raft. They offer food, water, medical supplies, anything that they can offer right then. 5 of the 15 people do decide that they're going to go back with Carnival and they're going to get on the cruise ship. Where 10 of them said, nope, we're going to stay here. Those 5 that did come back to the ship, they were given obviously food and water and any kind of medical service that they would need right then. But they did not get a free cruise out of it because Carnival contacted the Coast Guard. They contacted the local authorities at their next port. So either those 5 that were on the ship, they didn't get a free cruise. They either got put out there in Montego Bay and sent back to their home country, or they were on the ship in confined areas and brought back to Tampa and then sent back home from there. The moral of the story is, don't do a makeshift raft to try and get a free cruise because it doesn't work, because they'll send your booty back to home. There you have it. Cruise stories from the last week-ish. And if you like cruise news or daily vlogs when we go on our cruises, or ship tours, or food reviews, or just reviews in general, or just cruise talk in general, then I do invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you can get notified when we do upload videos. We upload about 2 videos a week, one of cruise news, one of ship information, and various shorts throughout the week. So until then, always remember that a cruise day is better than a work day anyway, and I wish a merry cruising to all, and to all a good night.